Friday
you.
edition. Thank you so much.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep to that. We're coming up. We got so much more coming your way, including all this stuff that we've been talking about on this Friday about how the economy is supposed to be getting better and unemployment is down. Well, we talked to Professor Peter Mathews from Cypress College coming up next after this and so much more. Keep it right here. KTLK AM 1150, your voice. A couple of economic stories that, and don't let your eyes glaze over when I talk about that, because if you know anything about me, you know that I don't get into, just kind of esoteric talk about stuff just because, it's out there. If it doesn't relate to you and me, then obviously I'm not interested in talking about it. But let me say this to you, that word that the unemployment rate is at 8.5%, and that by some stretch ought to be something we're happy about or content with, I just don't buy. And so when I saw that reaction today, it says to me, there's something wrong here. We are asleep at the switch if we want to believe that that kind of number is the new norm, and we're supposed to be, as Californians, happy about that. I don't think so. So that was one of the things that drew my attention, that there's all this hoopla about how great things are because unemployment has improved slightly. But then you look at where the unemployment has improved, and let me tell you where it is. It's in the leisure industry. It's in the hospitality industry. I guess if you want to be somebody who does room service or maybe maid service at a hotel, or maybe you want to work for the summer, in some kind of a beach job or something like that, maybe it's supposed to be good. But to me, it isn't. I want more. I want to be able to say that California is bringing back the kinds of jobs that really make for being able to support your family. That's what I'm talking about. That somehow we're now going to see an improving situation across the state. And I say somehow because it's going to take supporting mom and pop businesses. I called in our friend, Peter Mathews, a professor at political science at Cypress College, to kind of break it down for me. Here's what he had to say. Would the reaction this week be a truer reflection of where we are than what we've seen in this artificial stimulation over the last few months?
Yes, definitely so, because now the training wheels are off, and if the economy doesn't keep going, we know that it was an artificial stimulus, an artificial system going on, and we needed to get the real thing in, and that has to do with getting more people to work, getting money into small businesses' hands, Dave, and that's what we haven't been doing. That's the problem right there, to create more jobs. Small business and bringing in money to keep those, rehire those firefighters and all those workers, people like policemen and all those teachers. That's what's got to be done, and that would be the true way to stimulate the economy. The Fed pumping money in is not the best way. It's just been the temporary Band-Aid for right now.
Well, now let's talk about the unemployment in general. When I see the new norm of 8.6% being praised as though that's a good thing, my good friend, I remember days when if it wasn't, in the 7% range or less, we would be concerned. Are we supposed to believe that 8.5 or 8.6, and that's just across the board, that that is the new future for all of us?
We certainly are not going to accept that. We can't accept that. In fact, California's economy was the fifth largest economy in the world just a few years ago. It's dropped to the ninth in the economy, ninth in the world right now, as far down as ninth. And I would say just as Nero was fiddling while Rome was burning, California's government has been fiddling while our economy has been burning, Dave. They haven't been keeping things going the way they should. They've been cutting on all kinds of things like education, infrastructure, and they've been giving corporate loopholes to big companies. So this California government has to get its budget straight. It has to bring the funds in, invest in California people, and then go ahead and stop giving away money to the biggest corporations like that. And that means fiscal responsibility and getting things back in order. I don't see it happening yet. I really would urge our California legislature and governor to get it together and start putting California back together to be fifth largest in the world, not ninth in the world right now.
Give me the title of your book, because I know that that's going to be coming out, and it's a tremendous look into the economic realities of today.
Yes, it's called Dollar Democracy with Liberty and Justice for Some. And the subtitle is Reclaiming the American Dream for All, because we've got to do that. This is a great country. We can bring her back to where she was and to lead the world in that sense and to build our middle class back up.
So my final question, when we are looking at a governor who is frugal, and no one disputes that, and we have seen that, for instance, tax revenue has come in at $1 billion better than earlier projections, wouldn't it be a smart thing, rather than just keeping the money in or under the mattress, that perhaps some of this money ought to be infused into some kind of micro loans or things like that for small businesses, my good professor, so that people have a way to hire more Californians and expand their companies?
Matter of fact, it's been $3 billion more than what he projected. The LAO said it was $3 billion more. $3 billion, not one. Here's the thing, Dave. Let's set up a California state bank that would make loans to community banks that would lower the interest rates to small business and get the money in their hands to go ahead and be entrepreneurs and rehire our people once again. The salvation will be small business and infrastructure, including education, by the way. And Governor Brown cannot be frugal at this time. He has to be very measured and careful, but spend the money and stimulate the economy in the right way and get it growing. Rebuild it, not just stimulate it, but rebuild it in doing what I just suggested.
And to me, that's really the nugget in this whole story. That's why I thought it was worth that you would hear an excerpt of the more expanded and extended interview, which I invite you to listen to. If you go to KTLK AM1150.com, the David Cruz Show page, you're going to find there the entire interview that we had earlier with Professor Peter Mathews. And it's worth noting because as the author of a soon-to-be-released book that talks about our democracy and how it's about liberty and justice for some because it's about the dollar. It's a dollar-based democracy, it seems. Well, if that's the case, then is the new norm in America that you will be able to enjoy the democracy if you are part of that 1%, or maybe people who, for instance, while the Fed was backing the market, as they have been, to get it steadied, that you're all for it. And the moment that the Fed issues its statement that they're going to start weaning us off of their support, you bail. Well, I understand you're an investor. But what if you're a working person who simply cannot invest in Wall Street right now because you don't make that kind of money? Should you not also have an opportunity to speak? Of course you should. I think you should. So if that's the case, and you agree, then I think it behooves us to stay very connected to stories like this and to make sure that we understand what's at stake. And if we do that, then I think the politicians are less able to control what happens.